The world of spirituality is very complex, but the complexity stays as long as there is not enough understanding. As long as there is lack of understanding, everything seems so complex. But with the proper understanding, the path of spirituality can become a simple path. Normally, traditionally, spirituality says, rise above the Sansar, which is the cause of suffering, and etc. Some ignorants take this physical Sansar as the Sansar that they want to walk away from. People shirk from their responsibilities. They walk away from the world made out of the objects, people, situations, and go to the mountains and then meditate away their life, thinking that they have achieved something. No. This Sansar is in our mind. Each mind has its own Sansar created within itself. If a house has 5, 6, 7 family members, there are 5, 6, 7 worlds, 5, 6, 7 Sansars living in together. So don't blame the outside world. Spirituality says, deal with the Sansar that's within your mind. Yes, the outside physical world does reflect onto your mind, yes. But how you deal with them is decided by you. And you keep on creating new Sansar based on your innate desires, innate likes and dislikes. And this creates the world within you. Everyone comes with these innate desires, but when you are a child, nothing is obvious because these likes and dislikes, innate desires have not started expressing themselves yet. It's like an octopus baby. Seems so nice, cute, little. As soon as it gets bigger, it starts spreading its tentacles all around, looking for things in the world. And it's natural. There is nothing wrong with it. But this is what creates the complexity of the Sansar within our minds. And each one of us superimpose these desires onto the mind and from the mind into the Sansar. And this starts dividing the Sansar. For example, a few friends are standing near a tree. A botanist will be evaluating and will be interested in knowing the species, what species of that tree is, and all about its biological facts. A photographer will be looking at the beauty of the tree and will try to take various pictures so he can share with his friends. He feels good about looking at a beautiful tree. Someone who has walked a long distance in the heat of the desert, he'll be looking at this tree as a shelter and will thank the tree. If all the friends are standing nearby, all of a sudden a bird is passing by and is looking at the tree as an ideal place for a shelter and to build a nest for its own families. So the Sansar is the same. The tree was the same. But each one of us will look at the tree in a different way depending upon what desire we have hidden within us. If we have a hidden desire to look for beauty, we will superimpose it on the outside world and will make that a major criteria to divide the world. This is beautiful and this one is not. Same way, if a family get together is happening, there is a woman in the room, the wife. Everybody looks at her in a different way. The husband will look at her as a source of physical beauty, her physical appearance, and a child will be looking at the same female figure as a mother, a source of love, fulfilling his needs, taking care of his breakfast, ironing his clothes, taking him to school, etc. Husband is looking for satisfying his own needs in his own way, and so is the child. If the parents are there of that woman, they will be looking at her as their daughter with fondness and affection. But their vision is also based on their desire to have a child, have a daughter. When they were young, their desire was there to have a child, and if they wanted a girl, they will be very happily looking at her with love and affection. But if it was not, that's what they were looking for, and it turned out to be a boy, that might have been different too. Who knows? Doesn't matter. The bottom line is, what is the state of your mind? What is your inner desires? This is what you superimpose on the outside world. So the outside world has no problem. There is no problem at all. The problem is that we extend our desires onto the surrounding world. And that starts breaking the world down. If I want to drink, I'll be looking for the people who would also want to drink with me. Now, all the other things about that particular person will not be of any consequence or importance to me. I'll be happy as long as he gives me the company. Even to the point that if he stops drinking, he might drop out from my friendship. And these are typical scenarios. I'm not talking about me or you or anybody like that. This is how friends are made, because of a common thread. If I like bird watching and somebody has no interest in bird watching at all, he will not be my friend. Or in fact, if he loves bird watching, but at some point, for some reason, he just cannot join me, then he will be removed little by little from my friend circle. So we superimpose our ideas, our beliefs, our likes, our dislikes, our desires onto the surrounding world. And this superimposition, in a very, very subtle way, is a violence. It takes away the freedom of an individual. For example, if the wife does not seem so appealing anymore and husband starts losing his interest, that's a violence onto the wife, because it's not in her hands to not remain so beautiful as he had imagined in the beginning. And it creates the tensions, frictions, and the result is a desire for the beauty. Same way, a friend may be broken out from the group only because he has stopped drinking. It's a neglect and it's a violence, because he had built his friendship with the same friend circle of which he can't belong to anymore, because he has stopped drinking for whatever may be the reason, health, whatever, spiritual. So these are the realities of life, how we are bumping around in the sansar, interacting, liking, disliking. All these things are happening at the mind level. And every single desire that we have, we carried them as a seed from the previous life. When we realize this, from the spiritual point of view, we are living a violent life. And there cannot be any happiness in this. But the fact is, desires are there. Trishna is there. But we have to realize that this Trishna, which is hidden within us, is the cause of divisions in the society, but the suffering we feel at our own mind level. And this suffering leads to discontentment, because whatever I like, I would like to look for it. If I find someone, I'll be happy. If I don't find someone to match that, I will be unhappy. If parents want a son to be born, and if the daughter gets born, she does not get the same treatment as if the son would have been born. And it was none of her fault at all. So this discontentment happens at the parents' mind level is because of their own desires to have only a son, for example, or a daughter, and the same thing for husband or wife, to that matter. So we need to analyze our own mind and realize that our minds are running all the time because we are looking for something from this world. And at a very minute level, this is the reason why our mind does not feel rested. It's always running. Does not feel content. The main reason is we left our inner self long time ago. When we are looking for happiness in the sansar, we are looking for actually the contentment, satisfaction, happiness from the world. But we just don't know the way. We have created our own wrong path of going towards the sansar. So in a very deep, contemplative, reflective meditation, which you don't have to do every single day, but at least once a week, you sit down and analyze your own path. And you observe your mind. You observe your thoughts. You observe how they're running and get to the bottom. The source of all your sufferings are because your mind is filled with desires. And desires can be very obvious or very subtle. But it's time to reflect on your life and realize that desires is what deviates you from what you are. And understanding the problem is the beginning of solving the problem. And everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is living in their own world. And this world is that sansar that rishis have been telling us to get out of, rise above them. Every world that we are living in within our mind can be transcended. And the way to transcend is to be an observer, a truthful, unbiased observer. And you will realize where your mind is running and what does it want. Does it want objects of pleasure? Does it want appreciation, fame, respect from others? Whatever it is, you just observe. And in a steady state of observation, little by little, these desires start fading away. Because desires leads you to Sansar, and Sansar is incomplete, and it will always be incomplete because it's not the path. Sansar is all about dividing. A desire, Trishna, divides into likes and dislikes of the Sansar. It chooses people, and it leads to more and more complex labyrinth of incompleteness. And everybody is suffering. There is not a single person in this Sansar is complete. Nobody, no matter how much rich they may look like, they will always be incomplete. They will always have some desire that will make them feel incomplete, and they have to run for that. So do not look at others' lives and get a sense that they are happy and I'm not. Your happiness lies within you. The key to your happiness is finding these subtle desires, recognize them as invasions on other people's freedoms, and more than anything else, preventing you from looking at these beautiful creations of the universe in an impartial way. Why can't we just look at a tree without looking at its utility, without judging it for its beauty? Just see it without any mental activity. Why can't we do that? When we can do that, then we have reached to a state of sthita prajna, where your mind is not running at all, where your mind is not looking for any pleasures out of anything else, either people, objects, or situation. That's the time when you will become truly free from your own mind, will look at the world in an unbiased way, giving freedom to everyone and everything in the world. And who are you to give them the freedom? Freedom is already there. It was your invasion on their freedom that you're withdrawing. And you're bringing a beautiful world which was meant to be. Because at existential level, there is no difference between you and a rock. So look at the world without any thoughts. No thoughts, no desires, no memories, no fantasies, no personal interests superimposed on the world. Analyze them, transcend them, and find the kingdom of heaven right on this earth. Have a good day.